The first I heard of it was on Sky News, and then the usual barrage of WhatsApp messages came flooding through. So I was no different to anybody else. It was through the media that I found.
Lads on the shift that have only been here a short while. They've got kids, mortgages.
Families are going to have to split up whilst their loved ones work away elsewhere because there just isn't the facilities to work around here for the type of money that the families are used to.
I'm really disappointed with everything that's come out in the news with the refinery at the minute. I'm currently 22, I left school, did an apprenticeship, got a full-time job. The government are saying that they want more apprentices doing skilled job roles, and they're taking this opportunity away from people to follow the same route that I have, or to be an apprentice for the permanent contracting staff on site with different skilled jobs that the refinery requires.
So 425 people could lose their jobs here?
Or more than that. So that number figured is purely just Prax employees. There are roughly 1,000 people that go through the turnstiles at that refinery every single day. So there's more contractors that work there. That is their permanent place of work, you know, scaffolders, laggers, that kind of thing. And you can multiply that number by 4 or 5 of indirect job losses as well. You know, that you'll have the B&Bs in the area, you'll have the coffee shops, that kind of thing. So you're talking 4,000 to 5,000 potential job losses from the closure of Lindsey Oil Refinery.
They are looking to transition to green, but this isn't a transition. This is absolutely off a cliff edge. You know, I think everybody will agree oil isn't around forever. There needs to be a transition, but it takes decades.
So did you feel, or have you felt over the last few weeks, that the government's just not really very interested in you because, let's face it, oil refining is not a kind of top net zero activity, is it?
Obviously, they've tried to say the right things to us, as all politicians do. And the one thing they did say, which is absolutely true, is that oil is still around, and it will be around in your lifetime, my lifetime, and beyond. The need is there. And as a nation, we already import finished products. You know, your petrol, your diesel, we import because we don't produce enough. So with the closure of Lindsey Oil Refinery, it's only going to get worse.
And I want to explain what it means to everybody. So currently, as a country, we import 59% of the diesel into this country. With the closure of LOR, that's going to go up to 75%. Shocking, isn't it?
Decision that's been taken by the operators of them. Politicians are finding it really hard to implement the policies to bring down demand, because obviously there's a lot of costs involved.
Last year, the UK's demand for oil increased by 2.2%, so the UK government have set targets to tackle this. Sustainable aviation fuel was made obligatory as a 2% part substitute for jet fuel this year. From 2030, sales of new petrol and diesel cars will end, and £8.2 billion has been pledged into GB Energy. But this can't eradicate demand.
With the closure of Grangemouth and now LOR within 3 months, you've lost 20 to 25% of the refining capacity in the UK. We're going to be importing 75% of the diesel we need. We're already importing around 88% of the jet fuel that we need.
So what does the timeline look at the moment?
It's still king. You know, it doesn't mean that there shouldn't be a transition towards a more sustainable fuel source, because oil isn't going to be around forever, but it's certainly going to be around for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. But this transition's off a cliff edge.
There's also a knock-on impact on the energy transition, because, you know, the Lindsey Refinery was part of a wider carbon capture and storage project called Viking CCS. So if we're losing big industries and big emitters like that, then, you know, that's really going to increase the risks for CCS projects.
So if we have another situation like Russia, Ukraine, Gaza, we are not in control. We have to be self-sufficient as a country, and we're not. So I want to make it public, the national problem that this is, and Miliband doesn't care.
We're here because of the net zero agendas and how the oil and gas industry isn't seriously incentivised in this country. Refineries are dropping like flies now, and the more refineries that drop, the more we have to rely on foreign exports, which in turn puts all of our nation's energy security in the most vulnerable state it's ever been at. People need to realise that in order to go green, you need oil and gas.
As reps, we've been to London, we've been to Whitehall and Westminster, and we've spoken to Ed Miliband, Michael Shanks, face to face in a room, asked for their support. They're saying it's a loss-making business, which we've now kind of proven that it's not. It is a viable business. It takes 2 years to sell a refinery, and we were told after 3 weeks there's no credible bids, and we're looking to wind it down.
Hi, I'm Ian, and I worked for Lindsey Oil Refinery. I was proud to be an operator there. I've since retired, but I have not walked away from the fight. Because this is about more than jobs. This is about communities, about families, about workers, and about the truth. Lindsey Oil Refinery is not a failed refinery. It is a profitable, working, vital part of our energy system, and we have been failed. Failed firstly by bad management, and now failed by a government decision that just doesn't make any sense. To close a refinery that still works, that still matters. And that is why I've started this campaign, Save Lindsey Oil Refinery.
We would like the refinery to stay open, but also it matches up with what the government want, with more apprenticeships to be on offer for people leaving school.
Times for trading.
The stress on people is going to be immense, and I worry. And what's really, really upsetting is there's no need for it.